Hello, my name is Chad Graham from the law firm of Graham Adair, and today, as we approach the end of the summer travel season, I wanted to give an update on the state of affairs with international travel. As most people are aware, the US government has lifted travel restrictions into the country, which is fantastic news. It has also expanded the visa interview waiver program, and the CDC has lifted the requirement that people show a negative COVID-19 test before they can enter the country. So those are positive developments. What we're seeing, though, are some delays at the State Department level as people try to get visa interviews to enter the United States. What happened was during the pandemic, the State Department's revenues went down, staffing went down, and so as the State Department now is trying to replenish its staffing levels, there's a bit of a delay. And the reason for the delay is that it takes roughly a year for a new State Department employee to be ready to be able to be deployed into the system. They have to wait for security clearances to come through, as well as learning equipment protocols. So that can take a little while. Another issue that we're seeing that is leading to an increase in visa processing times is that the State Department is dealing with a number of humanitarian crises and redirecting staff according to those crises. Specifically, we're looking at the refugees coming out of the Ukraine and Afghanistan, making applications. This has led to an increase in administrative processing, which means that once somebody makes an application for a visa, if it is submitted for administrative processing, it has to go back to the State Department for security clearance, and only then when it comes back cleared can the consular post issue the visa. So seeing a broad increase there across the spectrum, we're seeing a number of delays for everyone. Another area that we've seen in particular is with the e-visa. We're seeing a lot of delays on e-visa applications. And so my advice, if a company is looking to sponsor an employee on an e-visa, is to potentially look at other options, such as an L1 visa for an intercompany transfer. So I'd like to shift gears and talk about a couple of countries specifically where we're seeing a lot of demand and some issues in those countries, specifically India and Mexico. In India, we were hoping that by expanding the visa interview waiver program that we would see that backlog cleared out really quickly. Unfortunately, that has not happened. Right now, those who are submitting applications are waiting about 6 weeks to get their visas back. So it's a significant delay. A lot of that, as I mentioned before, is due to additional administrative processing. And unfortunately, there's not a way to opt out of the Dropbox process. So that's kind of the wait that people in India are facing right now. The good news is we are having some success with expedited appointment requests. And my advice is if you are looking to make an expedited appointment request, that you work closely with your company and your company's immigration attorney to make sure that you're making a strong argument. As you can imagine, consular posts right now are getting many of these requests, so having a really strong argument that stands out is going to be critical, especially right now. Now, turning specifically to Mexico, the concern we had there was that TN visa applications were consolidated to 3 consular posts, specifically Ciudad Juarez, Guadalajara, and Mexico City. And so we were concerned that with that consolidation might come some significant delays in processing TN visa applications. The good news is we haven't seen that. What we have seen, though, is people who are coming from Mexico to the United States as business visitors, in many cases, are having to wait a really long time, in some cases around 500 days. So my advice is if you have an employee looking to come in that capacity, to look and see whether a TN visa might be appropriate and bring the employee in on a TN, which could be a much faster process. And I know that I mentioned that I was only going to talk about 2 countries, but I'm giving you a bonus here and talking about a handful of Western European countries, specifically Germany, Switzerland, and France. We're seeing visa wait times around 4 to 5 weeks. One of the things I wanted to mention is a number of people have had success going back into the portal and looking for cancellations for earlier dates and then slotting into those canceled appointments. We've had a number of clients do that successfully. And finally, I want to mention again the expedited visa appointment requests. We've had a lot of success with that. Again, it's really critical to make a strong argument to be able to get those earlier appointments, but that is something that we've seen a lot of success with and would highly recommend. And with that, that is the current state of affairs for international travel around the world. Things are always changing. My advice is if you are looking to travel internationally, especially if you're applying for a visa, that you speak with your attorney and understand kind of what the delays might be, what timing is looking like. Pull in human resources and your supervisor to be sure that everybody's aware that you could be stuck for a little while waiting, and have contingency plans for that. Until next time, happy travels. It has been my pleasure. Again, my name is Chad Graham with the law firm of Graham Adair, and I wish you the best.